All right, joined by Landon Cassill, one of the NASCAR racers who's been taking part in this iRacing Pro Series Invitational, and some pretty good results in there. You had a top 5 sprinkled in. Of course, it's kind of hard not to get involved with some of the dust-ups. What have been your overall impressions so far? I know there's been 3 races as far as the eNASCAR iRacing thing goes, but this is something you've done a lot more of, more than just the 3 events that everybody's seen on TV.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I'm full, and it's something I'm fully invested in right now. I've got a partner, Blue Emu, that's behind me. And we're just making content, really. Racing in the Pro Invitational Series, building around the iRacing platform. I promoted a race called Monza Madness on Sunday, which was really taking advantage of the flexibility that you have when you're on a platform like iRacing. We raced Cup cars, NASCAR Cup cars, at the Monza Oval, which is in Italy. You would never see that in real life, but we did it with a 60-car starting field, and it was total chaos. I mean, the cars were everywhere. There was no damage, no cautions. It was a 30-lap race, and it was all professional drivers in the race. So it was quite a crowd, and it was a lot of fun. But I'm doing something pretty much every day on iRacing, and I feel like I'm building an audience and a platform that can transcend beyond this.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that everyone's going to take notice of. Is there's going to be some new eyeballs once you guys get back on the actual track, and vice versa. There's going to be some people who've been watching this who continue to watch it even once the real racing continues.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the point. I mean, I think that there's just millions of people out there that right now that don't know where to put their attention. And so NASCAR and Fox and iRacing got together. I mean, they're knocking this out of the park in terms of where the attention is at. And so for me, it says, okay, here's a way I could promote my league. I could promote NASCAR. I could promote myself and my sponsors, and really, grind and work hard during this time period that is tough on a lot of people economically and physically, and provide some entertainment and come out of this prepared and have put myself in a position business wise to succeed.
You mentioned the Monza race. I think that's one of the really cool things about iRacing is that you can do all these things that you wouldn't be able to do normally in real life.
Right.
And another great example of that is Dale Jr. tweeted out the shot today at North Wilkesboro. And, that track's going to be ready to go for iRacing here before you know it. And there'll be cars again at North Wilkesboro, something you never would have thought possible if you'd have seen pictures or videos of that place in the last couple months and years.
Yeah, I mean, it's the beauty of technology, right? I mean, we've seen technology do some amazing things in all kinds of different fields, and you never would have imagined that technology could allow a racetrack to ultimately live forever. But the ability for iRacing to build quality racetracks that are perfect replicas of the real life track is actually one of their best strong suits. So it's pretty amazing that we'll be able to have North Wilkesboro forever now.
For the layman fans who aren't strapped into a sim rig like you are,
yeah,
what is the most realistic aspect of it, and what is kind of the farthest from what you're used to in a normal race car?
Well, I can tell you that the racetracks are some of the most realistic aspects of it. Just the visuals, what the detail that iRacing goes to make the tracks realistic is very, very good. And the biggest hurdle that you have going from a real car to iRacing is taking into account the immersive aspects that you don't have in a simulator. You don't have the motion, you don't have the loads on your body, you don't have that physical threat of like, I could hurt myself or I could crash this car and it would cost me lots of money. So there's certain things that you do in iRacing that you would never do in a real car, only because you don't have that level of immersion, right? So I actually believe that once you properly adapt into driving a car in iRacing the way that it is meant to be driven in real life, you realize it's almost a perfect copy. It really is a simulation. You really do drive cars in iRacing like you do in real life. It's just a matter of like kind of putting it in the same perspective.
Just a couple more for you. It's been well documented that guys like William Byron, Timmy Hill, 2 of the last couple of winners, they've been doing this for a while. who amongst the rest of the pack that maybe is just picking this up has surprised you the most, and you've kind of been like, wow, this guy's pretty good for not having done too much of this iRacing before?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle Busch stands out, and people have really complimented on how quickly he's adapted to it. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's really up to how much time you want to put into it. Every driver's been putting different levels of investment in it, and they're going to get different levels out. I mean, that's the beauty of it. It doesn't come down to how fast your car is. It comes down to how much time you put into it.
And I'll leave you with this. I'm chatting with Steve Meyers tomorrow, the head of the iRacing department.
Yeah.
If you had to tell him one thing, I'll put in a good word for you. What do you want me to tell him to help improve and to continue to further the iRacing game?
He's doing a fantastic job. He's a good friend of mine. You should definitely let him know that we spoke, because he's not only building a tech company, but now he's a race promoter, and he's trying to figure out how to run a racing league. He's been throwing a lot of things that he wasn't maybe expecting, but he's done a wonderful job with this platform. He just needs to keep it up.
All right, that's Landon Cassill, driver of the number 89 in the iRacing, as well as the Xfinity Series, once we're finally able to get back on the track. Thanks so much, Landon.
Thank you.